Yeah. It's nice, isn't it? Seeing, again, connecting up with everybody. Okay, I will make a start just because there's lots to get through and we have two lovely esteemed guests with me this afternoon. So tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa, ko Claire Coleman toku ingoa. Kia ora everyone and welcome. I will begin with karakia and then I will explain sort of how the session will run. Te taua mai I runga, te taua mai I roto, te taua mai I roto, te taua mai I waho ki tau e te tau Māori tū, te Māori ora ki te katoa, haumie, huie, tākie. And we will strengthen in our unity, as you said earlier there too. Huh? All right, so the session today is around some of the social sciences subjects. I must preface, this is not all of the social sciences subjects. These are the ones that have come out in group 1. And I am going to show you let's get my window. I'm going to show you the main consultation guide that I have created for this session, and just click you through that first, and then I will get my guests to introduce themselves and we'll dig in a little bit more deeply. So as ever, this page is all available online and I'll pop the link in the chat in a moment. I have done this round of sessions because the consultation is so brief. It closes next Monday for this group 1, phase 5. What I've done with our snapshot summaries is they are connected directly to the survey questions. So if you go to this page here, and as I said, I'll pop this into your chat momentarily. Here I go. You'll find that the summaries we're going to talk through. Here is your learning area. So you click on there, it'll take you to Taharangi. And if you scroll down, you'll see you can get into the drafts of all of the documents that you want to be thinking about. This is the consultation survey document. Just to say, again, it's a much kind of narrower survey than the one we had for phase 1 to 4. They're quite sort of, it's just a Likert scale for many of the questions, but there is an opportunity at the end to upload a document of feedback and to put some comments in another box. So that's the place, if they've not asked you what you really want to comment on, that's the place to put that content there. You'll also see it asks you to, if you want to do another subject and another subject. My understanding, and I did email the ministry about this, is you can do them separately, or you can do them all. You can go through and do kind of 6 different subjects in one survey. So it doesn't matter how you kind of engage with it; they will still count your submission. And then again, down the bottom of this page, there's a link to the phase 1 to 4 draft for any of you that want to add to that material, and an article about that as well, just if you want to need a bit of revision or a bit of just giving you a context for where this is landed in terms of those. It is also worth saying that the phase 1 to 4 social sciences remains in draft at this point. So this phase 5 was created whilst that base is, I guess, not settled yet. Right, okay. So because the vast majority, as ever, these resources were created with consultation and work from some experts in the field. It's not Claire and her random thoughts. And the bulk of those were around the subject civics, politics, and philosophy. So that's the one that I think we're going to kind of dig into a bit more in this session, just for time. But there are some short summaries also of mata whenua, the geography, and the sociology as well. So those are there for you to have a look at also. All right, so I am going to click into this so that you can now see the snapshot summary, and we're going to have a move through looking at the social sciences, civics, politics, and philosophy. So perhaps if I could just turn to my lovely guests, and maybe I'll just stop sharing for a moment so you can introduce yourself, and then we'll go back. So, Pip and Maria, if I can ask you to introduce yourselves and just give us kind of your high-level thoughts, and then, as ever, I will try and run us through the survey questions in the time available. Pip, should we start with you?
Okay, thank you so much, Claire. And ngā mihi nui a koutou katoa. It's great to see some familiar names on the list I can see. Okay, I come to this session uh, it- with a sense of despair. I have to be honest, I was not looking forward to doing this. I had given the draft phases 1 to 4 a lot of attention. And then I didn't have a lot of time, but I have looked at civics, politics, and philosophy. Okay, in terms of my work, I'm a senior lecturer. Now I'm honorary research associate. I'm about to leave my job. I'm about to retire. But I have had over 35 years in the field. I've been fully involved in all social sciences developments, curriculum, and assessment, uh, particularly sort of up towards the 2007 curriculum. So my teaching involves history education, senior social sciences studies, uh, um, and junior social studies in the secondary school. I'm very aware of our current curriculum constructions of social sciences. So in terms of that, I bring that knowledge and experience and writing and teaching to this. In teaching senior social sciences at Waikato University, we are one of the few university-based teaching programs that offers senior social sciences studies to secondary ITE students. So they are accepted on the basis they're accepted into the 1-year graduate or postgraduate teacher education program on the basis, if they're social sciences qualified, on the basis of their specialist subject. And it could be anthropology, political studies, environmental education, legal studies or the law, media studies, classical studies. So we are able to offer teacher education in the senior social sciences to well-qualified graduates. So in terms of teaching a whole mix of social sciences graduates, they bring their specialism. We are able to, through the current NCA achievement standards and so forth, the current achievement objectives, to use some of the social studies materials available for the senior school. And so, who makes up our graduates? I have to say, maybe one classical studies person. I note we have a classical studies subject that's been developed further in this iteration of the draft. Very few philosophy students, 1 or 2. We have a lot of anthropology. We have a lot of media studies, environmental, some Pacific studies. Yes, so what I can see is that we don't have a lot of philosophy students, and they do not bring in the kind of philosophy that is signaled in the civics, politics, and philosophy subject. So I'm curious about, are we going to have qualified graduates to actually prepare and be able to teach what is signalled for what I'm calling CPP. I think it's a real issue. I made a comment to my mate, Gaynor, the other day, who's here as a drama performance person. Thank you, Gaynor. I made a comment that it seems to me that the CCP subject or construction of a subject, all subjects are constructed. We have to realize that. But it seems it's for imaginary teachers and imaginary students. I really, really feel so concerned that we almost have a kind of, I'm sure the developers are well-meaning. I'm not trying to bag them too much. But have they ever thought about what social sciences are about? Because one of the main blocks for me is the actual structure that I don't know whether people are digging deep about it, but the structure of knowledge rich and science of learning, like 2 posts on the structure, a crude curriculum diagram, and apparently they're supposed to meet and be very meaningful. Well, for social sciences education, they do not actually comfortably underpin. They're not foundational to the social sciences. I'm, my mantra is probably getting a bit boring, but social sciences are active. They are inquiry-based or evidence-based pedagogies, right? So with a science of learning and knowledge-rich kind of weird statement about coherence and progress and goodness knows what, anything to do with culture, anything to do with sociocultural theory or underpinnings, which are very, very much important to social sciences. They're not part of the discourse of this. So my argument would be that why are we not actually questioning why this knowledge-rich social science of learning thing is seen as a given? And what it means is that an almost academic scholar discourse has been applied to CPP. I'm also really concerned that for some reason we've lost the terminology of social sciences or social studies. In the States, all of the social sciences subjects offered with standards and assessment, they fall within the nomenclature of social studies, the social studies. But what we have, I feel despair about this. I just feel that we have lost not just the naming of social studies or social sciences, but we have lost a really significant learning area at that senior end of the school in the curriculum. And so how come that happened?
I'm going to cut you off there, Pip, just because I need to be able to get, I just want to get Maria's thoughts in as well, and I think we'll come back to it. Don't worry, it's fine. It's fine. And I know I saw Maria nodding away anyway, and I think we're going to come through this as we move through the serving material. So Maria, can you really quickly just quickly introduce yourself, and then I'll put the resource up as well, and make our way through there, and we'll come back to you, of course. Thanks, Maria.
Kia ora, and I do acknowledge all of the work that you have done over those decades. So, ko Marie Pro tō koingoa. I am currently the kaiārahi for the Aotearoa Social Studies Educators Network. I've been in this role for 6 years. And citizenship education, social studies education, is really my thing. I just in a really brief way agree with what Pip has said in particular. I mean, both sociology and civics, politics and philosophy, those two courses, my understanding is that they were created in response to the removal of the senior social studies, which the sector was not consulted about. And once we found out about it, really gave very strong feedback that we did not want the changes that were being proposed, and we didn't understand why. No one's ever explained why. So I think, just as a really high level overview, what is being removed is that active citizenship. And I have to say that it is probably the heart of the social studies that is being removed in that. And it's the thing that our young people enjoy. It's the thing that teachers love teaching. I am gathering feedback from our members. And
I've lost the connection. I can see you and Maria, but I can't hear anything.
Okay. Yeah. So we are basically, can see that there is, I don't know, teachers are having conversations, heads of department are having conversations currently around actually, are these teachable in the secondary level? Pretty loudly and clearly coming back with some answers of no, not in the way that these drafts are written. They're not implementable and not appropriate, as Pip, you've said as well, too high level. They're written like academic courses, and in the conversations I've had with people who are lecturing in universities, they basically have picked up social science content from university courses and made no attempt to see how that would possibly work in Aotearoa New Zealand for our young people. And just there's nothing there that speaks to equity, to tiriti honouring, or our young people who want to learn about, being a nation and the way we work and how we contribute as a nation in the Pacific as well. That's completely been overlooked.
Okay, hopefully, Pip, I have re-invited you, and I did hear you before, so I'm hoping your connection will rejoin us.
I can just see you and Maria now. Can you hear me, Claire?
Yes, we can. We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, thank you, Maria. Just following on from your comments, Maria. This is a high-level kind of academic scholar kind of course. However, it is really framed by philosophy, but a very classic traditional form of philosophy. When I went through university, which was a long, long time ago, it is the kind of philosophy, metaphysics, deontology that I had to stomach and couldn't even understand. These days, in terms of education, masters and PhD students, we may be looking at some of the philosophers such as Kant or Locke or Heidegger or Adorno or whatever. But, a 16-year-old, 17-year-old kid, we don't need to look at that kind of philosophy. We've lost an opportunity. The social studies or the for ethical and philosophical thinking. Why has that disappeared? When I looked
Philip, I would just leave.
Philosophy offerings, and they all talk about, the big quandaries, the big questions, blah, blah, blah. But the most important thing most of them signaled was real life, everyday issues offer the rich pickings for philosophy. And why haven't we actually taken that up? Why have we got something so artificial?
Yeah.
Okay, what I'm going to do, just because I think we are moving. Yes, I know Pip's cutting in and out a little bit there, but I think we'll just press on, and hopefully we'll get more of her than we lose. And what I'm going to do, because I think we're kind of talking around these things in terms of the survey, I'll just keep scrolling through it so people can see what's here. And guys, you can look at this obviously in your own time. I don't want to cut down on the important discussion that Pip and Maria are having. I'm going to move, I think, just to looking really about the subject, because I think this is an interesting
I can't
part.
see anything happening. Am I lost or?
Don't think so. Everyone else, my screen is showing the visual. I think Pip, you're just, unfortunately, technical things are not being friendly to you today. Yeah. I'm just scrolling. Well, I'm just looking at. I'll just tell you what's on the card, and then you can speak to that. So this is around in the survey questions. It's question 7. First 5 questions are just the who are you kind of thing. But question 7 asks about the subject description aligning with the knowledge and practice statements. And so the group that looked at this disagreed with this on the Likert scale. They said we disagree. And the points around that were, again, this idea, I think you've touched on this, both of you, that the subject description suggests kind of an active citizenship and engagement with society, but actually it's very abstract, it's very text heavy, it's very analytical, it's a lot of reading and analyzing and not real world connection. There's a gap between that kind of active engagement of citizens and this sort of big theoretical stuff. And then, as you alluded to, Maria, the sort of optional referencing of Maori and Pacific perspectives that are kind of decontextualized, and this sort of lack of consistency risks undermining that Te Tiriti aligned practice. Maria, do you want to maybe pick up on that for a moment, and then we'll just see how Pip's doing tech-wise?
Yeah, I think what I will come to is I happened upon a document that's up on the ministry that's been released under OIAs today, and it says that, so this is from September last year, and it speaks to the reasoning of why civics politics is a subject, and I'm quoting, which has long been asked for to support students and interested in political systems, civic institutions, ethical frameworks, and how public decision-making shapes society in New Zealand and globally. Well, if that's what they set out to be achieving, and I think going back to that purpose statement and what we were just, the survey results that you've got there is lead to that as well. But this public decision-making shaping society in New Zealand and globally, it's completely missing. And I think that is the piece that current senior social studies teachers love to teach. Our young people are engaged. And, I'm reminded of the question of, like, what are we afraid of in giving our young people really good, engaging, active citizenship and civics education? I think there is questions to be had around, what is the strategy here in terms of removing year 11 from this learning, and also making it so dry and so irrelevant that young people won't necessarily even want to pick it up.
Yeah, I mean this is a comment that we've had a bit in the other sessions too, in the other phase 5 sessions around what we described in the English about taking the juice out, right, taking the joy out of the subject and the kind of juicy bit that you do capture young people with, and kind of hollowing it out with a lot of sort of dry theoretical reading and looking back, very much backward looking as well, not as a contemporary subject for learning about. We'll move to the next section on the things, just talking about the knowledge statements. So again, I think we've talked about the overlooking that everyday civic life, but maybe this idea around the demands that it's placing on learners. Pip, do you want to try and talk to that? Have we lost Pip completely now?
I think Pip might have gone completely by the look of it.
Yeah. Okay, Maria, I'll fling back to you and I'll just re-invite her and see if we can pull Pip back.
Yeah, so the significant demand, it's a real it's a real issue. I don't know the fact that this course begins in year 12 instead of from year 11. There's no real pathway to come into that year 12 course from any of the other year 11 offerings. And we just, it just feels like the demands would be the too much content, and it's too high level. We've discussed at length, but the fact that subjects in A levels, there's only 3 subjects required. Most students take 3 subjects. We've been told that our senior students are still going to have to take 5 subjects, and the amount of content that's in these subjects is inequitable compared to, if we're supposed to be doing an internationally comparative have internationally comparative curriculum. The other thing that I have pointed out to the ministry from the beginning is that no other place in the world has a curriculum that includes philosophy, civics, and politics. And it feels like they have just jammed 3 curriculum from 3 separate courses all into one with this. So, yeah, nowhere else in the world has this type of course, and they've missed the opportunity to try and really tailor it to be learning about some philosophy through politics and civics.
Pip, I can hear you in the background. Are you ready to chime in? Are you with us still?
Well, yes, suddenly you've appeared on the screen with the visual. I've been sitting trying to just be calm.
Okay.
But, hey, it's great to be back. Yeah. Okay. So I have missed the corridor up to now, but I'd just like to comment in terms of the capabilities statement, the purpose statement. There are some very scary things contained in those statements, all about students, the way that students will respond or communicate for assessment, the mantra of logic and reasoning and reasoned argument. These are strong statements. So for social sciences education, social studies education, as Maria has said, we've lost an opportunity because social sciences, we do this kind of integration of ideas and knowledges and perspectives. That's what we do now. And we've missed an opportunity to really, really be funded by government to produce a fantastic senior social sciences program. My other problem is, I believe, whoever has developed this, they hold the social sciences in contempt. They hold social sciences teachers, educators, researchers. There are a lot of us who have been active in this space. We've got PhDs, we know our stuff, we want to be innovative, and yet we haven't been part of this development.
Okay, I'm just looking at time. I know we're at 5:00. We did have a little bit of delay, obviously, with some of the technical issues. So I'm just going to, if everyone doesn't mind, we'll hang on for 5 more minutes. As you've seen, I've been sort of scrolling through the document, and I do invite you to go back and look at that in more detail. But I think you can see that Maria and Pip have been talking very much around some of the things, some of those keywords that are popping up on this website here. I just wonder if maybe we could just click back now to the summary part, and I'll just maybe come back to both of you, Maria and Pip, to sort of give us your big takeaways in terms of this curriculum, in terms of the things you would be feeding back on, and the things that you might want to put your feedback into. As I said, the survey is quite narrowed in terms of it just being that Likert scale type thing. But I think you've raised some big issues about what is missing from this subject, and what opportunities have been missed, and what some of the content does look like, and seemingly is disconnected from the realities of the classroom. Maria, if I come back to you maybe, and then Pip, if you go on after her.
Great. I think it looks like Pip has gone again, but yeah,
Try,
I mean,
try and get it back while you're talking.
the one thing I guess I would end with is there are so many named theorists from way back in the past and historical, and all these named, mostly male, I think maybe all male, but there are, where is a reference to people like Moana Jackson and the Mātiki Mai Project? I mean, this is an opportunity for us to really engage with some groundbreaking international political constitutional studies that the rest of the world looks to us and thinks, wow, that's amazing. Where is that type of content? And I think if we can get our feedback out there to, the people who are going to be picking up this and hopefully refreshing it, rewriting it. There's an example of one thing that I would expect to see in this curriculum.
Lovely. Thank you. And Pip, we've got you for your last high-level comments.
Is there anything particular you would like me to comment on? Look, I just think it's a missed opportunity. And I just think, we've always had a space for philosophy in the social sciences. And we have some philosophy graduates who are really, really keen to access jobs, in schools who offer a range of social sciences. But what are we going to do in terms of teacher education?
Mm.
I mean, not every teacher wants to actually be working with classical philosophy. Not every teacher would understand deontology or the theory of ethics or whatever. And our students, we're denying them some really, really nice learning opportunities in politics, philosophy, and of course civics. It can be interesting. It can be issues based. It can be inquiry. So what happened to inquiry methodology in the social sciences? We don't have it anymore.
Mm.
Do we just accept this? Anyway.
Yes, I think, and this again is something that's been talked to around many of the other learning areas and the other subjects. Again, this kind of the nature of that learning area, the kind of the way that you engage with the pedagogies that you apply, the kind of the heart and soul of things seems to have gone, and instead it's been replaced with a lot of content, but not the thing that's going to captivate young people and prepare them and be fit for purpose in terms of the unknown futures and the evolving social landscape that continues. Well, I will thank everyone for coming this afternoon. I know we had a few little technical bumps here and there, as ever. Again, remember that resource is there. There is also, as I said, a snapshot summary on the manu whenua, the geography subject, and also the sociology subject. So take a look at that as well. And we will have, of course, another social sciences subject coming, I think, comes out with group 3. So that will probably be, I think, mid-July, something like that. So keep your eye out. And all of this will go up on Substack, and all of this will go up on the website very shortly. I'm just going to say thank you very much, Lee, to my beautiful guests for their time, their expertise, and their grace under annoying IT pressures. And I will just close out with karakia. Kia tau tō rangamare, ki runga ina iwi o te ao. Let peace reign on all us people of the world for the rest of the evening. Ka kite, everybody.
Kia ora, yeah. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.